This episode of Acts of Geekery is brought to you by Bachelor Chow. All your nutritional needs for an active bachelor with none of the flavor. Bachelor Chow, now with flavor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Acts of Geekery Podcast, episode 12. I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek, here to bring you all the geeky things in the world of geekdom.
And then some.
Yep. We didn't think we'd have much news today, did we?
We always think that. We should just stop saying it.
Yeah, we should.
Or maybe not. Maybe that's what gets it. If we personally jinx ourselves at the beginning. Oh, there's not going to be a lot of news. There's a lot.
Woe is us.
Woe is us.
First world problems.
Woe S.I.
Well, we have a lot of news, and we always start the news with either Dawn of Justice or Age of Ultron, because those are the two big movies coming out.
And we can't wait for either of them, actually.
Well, Age of Ultron has come out with their official plot synopsis, and I'm going to read this to you, Scott.
Hold on. There is a picture on the page you just brought up.
Yes.
Of Iron Man blasting an Ultron robot in the face with his two hand guns, or whatever you want to call them.
Repulsor rays.
Repulsors. There we go.
Give me your geek card. Oh my gosh. We're off to a good start, huh?
Apparently, I'm going to lose a bunch of geek cards.
Did you notice all the other Ultrons around him, too?
I did, but I only care about the one he's blasting in the face.
Okay, so here's the plot synopsis for Age of Ultron. Marvel Studios presents Age of Ultron, the epic follow-up to the biggest superhero movie of all time. Agreed. When Tony Stark
Guardians of the Galaxy? That's the biggest one of all time.
Nope. Sorry.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes!
I knew it!
Yeah, sorry, they're skipping over it. When Tony Stark tries to jumpstart a dormant peacekeeping program, things go awry and Earth's mightiest heroes, including Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Incredible Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, are put to the ultimate test as the fate of the planet hangs in the balance.
I read that as Black Eye and Hawk Widow.
Hawk Widow.
Black Eye.
Black Eye. The Avengers, let's see, blah, blah, blah. As the villainous Ultron emerges, it is up to the Avengers to stop him from enacting his terrible plans, and soon uneasy alliances and unexpected action pave the way for an epic and unique global adventure.
I'm expecting tons of action.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second paragraph goes into who's playing who.
This wasn't going to be like a period piece of, it's
in the 1940s and there may be action.
It's going to be big, like a sad drama.
So I wanted to bring this up because I'm reading this and we've already known about all of this that they're talking about for some time now. The internet's out there now, guys. Do we really need plot synopsis anymore?
No.
Like, with all the spoilers out today, do you think the studio should just keep as much to themselves as possible? What's your take on that?
They gotta pay the guy that announces stuff at the small press conference that no one goes to. Yeah. They just need to get the man, I'm off to a terrible start today.
You are.
They should just get the guy that does honest trailers to do everything.
Yeah, exactly. But the last thing I wanted to note about this is at the end, it talks about the new characters, Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and Pietro Maximoff, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Mm-hmm. And then they say, and they meet an old friend in a new form when Paul Bettany becomes Vision. So that's
awesome.
Pretty much a confirmation that Jarvis is going to become the Vision.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, which I think is great because Jarvis has been a fan favorite for a while now.
Vision has been probably one of my favorites for a long time.
Just because he's the Marvel Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, exactly. Not as good, but still cool.
For those of you who don't know who he is, yes, he's the Marvel Martian Manhunter.
The Marvel Manhunter.
The Marvel Manhunter. They also talked a little bit about Drax the Destroyer's role in Avengers 3.
See, told you it was going to be a follow-up.
Yeah. No, this is 3.
I know.
This is the one after. So apparently, Dave Bautista went in to do some extra contracting and change up his contract because Drax worked really well in Guardians.
Yeah.
And he was one of my favorite characters.
One of mine as well.
And they've
second favorite behind Rocket and Groot, and I say second because Rocket and Groot are a couple.
Yep,
they're a team.
They're the power couple.
Yep, they are the power couple. You can't
Doesn't matter.
Can't
who
count them
else.
as separate characters.
Remind me, I have a funny comic to show you about Tony Stark later too. Like a little,
we should not be doing that on the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. You won't remember.
No. And no one, no. You just teased it to everyone now.
I'm sorry, people.
And
I'm
now they're
sorry.
going to be disappointed when it's not
Yeah.
up on our Facebook page, like all that stuff that we wrote down last time.
I actually have the picture for the prop hammer, and that's
Okay.
the only one that needs to be posted.
Alrighty.
I went through the podcast like I do every week. But they talked about his role. Oh my gosh, we are terrible at staying on topic.
Yeah.
They talked about how he was getting his contract redone to be in Avengers 3, in addition to Guardians 2 and probably Guardians 3. And which kind of means, Drax's big villain is Thanos. Like at the end of Guardians, he's like, great that I killed Ronan, but Thanos is the one who I really need to go after.
Yeah.
Who
I really need to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And Gamora kind of gives him this look like,
yeah,
okay.
like here we go.
here we go again. He's gonna call me a whore.
I think Gamora's the Kif of the group.
She, just sighs and everything.
So I think that's kind of along the same lines as Avengers 2, as we knew Avengers 3 was probably going to be Thanos.
Yeah.
So
we thought Avengers 2 was going to be Thanos because of the
That's true.
tease, but I guess not.
As soon as they said Age of Ultron, we're like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah, we can work with this.
Yep.
We can work with this.
Another Marvel movie.
Your title, the way you got it written, I read a strange shooting, a strange shooting in UK. I was like,
Oh, sorry.
There's probably lots
Let
of
me
them.
decapitalize shooting there.
Okay.
So the Doctor Strange movie is going to start shooting in the UK in 2015. It seems like a pretty obvious choice for
And
Doctor
then it'll
Strange.
film a little later.
Yes. They'll just start shooting up the place. And then,
Yep.
all right, we got enough dead bodies. Let's start shooting.
Yep.
Wait, filming.
Filming.
But the release date has been set for July 8th, 2016.
Fantastic.
It
We're
is
gonna actually
fantastic. The great.
Did they say who was going to play him?
They still haven't come out and said who the lead actor is, although apparently Joaquin Phoenix is still in final talks. So
He's got kind of look for it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's been pretty good. I don't really know him in many movies.
Yeah, the
He
last
was in
place I saw him,
Sahara, wasn't he?
I've never seen that movie.
He was in Walk the Line.
Yeah, he was Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I almost said Johnny Cage, but that's
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, Johnny Cage,
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze. There's too many. Well, Johnny Cage is from Mortal Kombat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is we might get Joaquin Phoenix. The last thing I saw him in was Brother Bear, so
And he was just playing a voice, wasn't he?
yeah. No, he was one of the bears, Scott. He actually played the bear.
I mean,
He turned himself into a cartoon bear.
Cumberbatch played Smaug.
That's true.
Turned himself into a dragon just for the role.
That's where all their budget went.
Yep. Yep.
So yay, Doctor Strange. Yay. Not as exciting as Deadpool.
Maybe. I really like Doctor Strange.
I do
actually.
too, but I've been waiting a lot longer for a Deadpool
And I
movie.
have not read a single comic that was just his.
Really?
Ever.
You've never read Journey into Mystery, just
No.
Doctor Strange? Maybe they need to come out with one.
Get
might
on
be
that,
good.
Marvel.
Yeah, come on, Marvel.
That's a $100,000 idea.
We're just giving you
We're just giving it to you.
$100,000.
It is comics.
Yeah,
That's
I guess
some titles. That's all they make.
that's true. Captain America, Winter Soldier. We just watched it last Sunday.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Even the third time through.
Oh yeah, so good, so good.
We'll watch it again tomorrow.
I'm
actually,
going to have to because I just love every single. Like I was like, oh, this is my favorite part. Oh no, wait, this is my favorite part. Oh no, wait, this is my favorite part.
Actually, you should say, "Oh wait, this" right at the beginning, and at the very end, say "my favorite part."
My favorite part.
The whole movie was your favorite
Yep.
part.
Actually, I think the best part is the tech guy who is like, I can't launch the helicarriers. Captain's orders.
Cap's orders.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it out there. Captain America: Winter Soldier, better than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not for me, but that's cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're Mr. Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I love my sci-fi.
Yeah. I mean, but for me, Captain America.
Yeah, Cap was kind of a spy movie.
Yep.
Yeah, which was
It's
good.
a nice spy thriller,
good.
which is really
Yeah.
cool. A lot of people are worried about Chris Evans leaving the role because he said after his contract's up with Marvel, he wants to retire and start working on directing, which, we've all been kind of grumbly about. Well, there was an interview where they were talking to him and they said, so who do you think they'll pass the shield to when you're done? And he replied with, "Who's handing off the shield? Don't take my job prematurely." And he started talking about he started talking about how he really enjoys playing the character. So I think that doesn't sound like the kind of guy who's ready to give up his role.
Yeah, which is good because he plays a great Captain America.
He is an amazing Captain America.
He's a way better Captain America than he ever was a Human Torch.
Yeah. And then,
although he did play a good villain in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of the good evil exes.
Yep. Which, by the way, speaking of Scott Pilgrim and other people who play superheroes from that movie, Brandon Routh, I looked at some Arrow pictures, which we'll get to later here. He is a handsome man. Like Brandon Routh, he looked like he's looking right at the camera, and I'm like, I'm blushing.
That's because he's a 7th level vegan.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you know that? He doesn't eat anything that casts a shadow.
I love how you rolled a Simpsons reference into that.
Well, it went with it.
Yep. You like the Honest trailers, Scott? Have we talked about them before on the podcast?
Yeah.
I think that was
that
my
was your pick.
Yeah, I think that was one of my picks.
On like number episode 3.
Yeah. Well, Honest trailers are really cool.
Oh yeah, they're
And
great.
they're-
If you haven't
they're
checked them
hilarious.
out, you can find them on YouTube. Just search for Honest Trailers and
It's
just
on the-
watch them all.
Yep,
'cause
it's
they're
from
fantastic.
Screen Junkies.
Yep.
And the directors of Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, came out and said that part of their motivator when they were writing the script, because they were writing and directing, was they wanted to make it honest trailer proof because they really love the franchise themselves. They watch all the videos. So every time they were having a meeting about writing and they'd come up with a plot point, they'd work on it until they were sure that honest trailers couldn't make fun of it and be like, what the heck's going on? And that may have helped the movie be better.
Which I think they need to. Every movie needs to do
Yes.
that. That needs to be their gold standard.
Yes.
Can Honest Trailers make fun of this?
It would ruin
No?
honest trailers.
Yeah. No, this is a great movie. No, it didn't. Because Honest Trailers did a Captain America 2.
That's true.
And he said, we freaking love this movie.
But here's some nitpicking.
Like, get ready for nitpicking. And they just like picked random stupid little things out that
So-
no one cares about. But it was still funny.
Yep. And I think that other blockbusters do need to take from that example is go, we need to make this honest trailer proof or make this, well, not CinemaSins so much.
I don't really care about that
They kinda-
channel that much.
Yeah. But yeah, so honest trailers, good job. You guys are awesome.
Make a Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Yes.
Whether or not you absolutely rip it apart, I will still love you for it.
I think that'll be December because that's when the movie comes out.
Oh, yeah, they usually do it when the movie comes out.
So that
huh?
they can get the extra footage and everything. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, there's your release date for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
Oh.
December.
A good Christmas presents.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll
So-
buy it before, so I don't have to worry about getting it for you as a
I
Christmas
would take
present.
multiple copies. That's okay. I love it that much. I will go buy it for myself.
This
you
is
buy
my
it for me.
my copy for home, and this is my copy for the bedroom.
Exactly. I'll buy one for me. You buy one for me. Mom, if you're listening, you buy one for me. My little sister, if you're listening, you buy one as
Your
well.
Christmas is gonna be nothing but Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's okay.
DVDs.
Buy me a DVD rack along with it.
That looks
And I
like
can put 'em
Rocket
all-
Raccoon.
I can put them all in. No, just Groot.
Yeah,
Rocket, I could take him or leave him. I
Yeah.
like him, but I like Groot way better.
that's true. You
But they
like
are a
Rocket
team. That's right.
with
I said they were a
Groot.
team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay.
God, don't go back on your word.
Sorry. I apologize.
Speaking of things coming out, that sounds really wrong if you don't have context.
Cory, what have you been hiding?
Next Monday, I'll be making a big announcement. No. Next Monday, Gotham series premiere.
Yay!
Are you guys ready for it? We're ready for it. We're excited for
We're
it.
gonna have popcorn and everything.
We probably won't review the first episode till the week after because we'll be watching it that Sunday instead.
We got to figure that out because there's so many TV shows coming out that
there
we're
are
gonna
a
watch.
lot. There are 5.
I mean, we've
Just on TV.
got the whole DVR thing going on. We can just record them all and watch them whenever. We got to figure out is Sunday gonna be the watch day, or is it
Yeah.
gonna be like a couple a night? I don't know.
Also coming out next week on Tuesday is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2,
Right?
which I'm excited for. Like, I was excited for Season 1, and then I started watching Season 1, and eventually it got better and everything, which makes me super excited for Season 2, especially since they've already announced that Episode 3 is going to involve Blizzard, the one kid that has the snow powers.
Oh,
Or the
yeah,
ice powers.
from the third episode.
They're going to do that at the 3rd episode. So That's exciting. We're going to get a lot more power stuff.
So they created him in the 3rd episode of the first season, and they're going to unveil him for the 3rd episode?
No, they didn't create him in the 3rd episode. They created Graviton in the 3rd episode.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they created him in like the
6th.
6th or 7th episode.
Yeah.
You know, back when it was okay.
Yeah. Back when it was all... I mean, it's still a lot of this, but back when it was all gadgets, there was absolutely nothing non-gadget related.
Relater.
Gadget related.
So that's pretty exciting. All right, Scott, I got some Daredevil casting news for you for the Netflix series.
That's coming out February? January? February? January? January? February?
February?
All I know is 2015, but I don't know
see.
when for sure.
Sometime in 2015 is all it says
No,
here.
it'll be like end of first quarter or something.
13 episodes, by the way.
Because they don't want to compete with Orange is the New Black,
Uh-huh.
and they don't want to compete with House of Cards. So, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it'll be the beginning, maybe it'll be the end of the year.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
It'll be interesting. Well, they cast actor. Oh wow, yeah, I'm off to a good start.
Tough actor to actor.
A tough actor to actor. Scott Glenn has been cast as Stick, Daredevil's mentor.
No one knows who that is.
I'm telling them who's casting first.
Okay.
He's been in things like Training Day, Silence of the Lambs, Backdraft, The Hunt for Red October. If you've ever seen Sucker Punch, he's the old mentor.
I'm going to double check that because they didn't list it. Maybe they just didn't list it because everyone doesn't like it.
It's kind of a weird movie.
I like it.
I do too.
I really like it.
I think it's visually stunning.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Zack Snyder, so...
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Doobie doobie doo.
Doobie do indeed. He was in, like, The Bourne Legacy. Yeah, he was in Sucker Punch. Okay, so he's the old, like, general in Sucker Punch.
Who was he in The Silence of the Lambs?
He is the Lamb.
Okay, he's not the Silence?
No, he's not the Silence.
Okay, because I look at him and then I look away and I don't remember him, so he could be the Silence.
He's not that Silence.
That is a Doctor Who joke.
Is he covering his eyes?
No.
He's Jack Crawford, whoever that is.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Whoever that is in The Silence of the Lambs.
So, I mean...
Sucker Punch.
If you're watching
he's
this...
the old guy that... he's the general or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like he's
samurai
pretty much
master.
yeah, he's a samurai master. He's pretty much like the mentor in each one of her
the narrator,
the fantasies.
The plot device.
Yeah, the one that's like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines from the whole movie.
Yeah. So if you're listening at home, look him up on IMDb and find out what he's been in, because
once you see him, you'll go, oh yeah. Seen him.
He's one of
times.
those actors.
Yes, he's in a lot of things. He's been in like 60 something. On IMDb.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's a lot. All right, going back to TV.
He's gonna train.
Actually, we're still in TV.
He's gonna train Daredevil, Matt Murdock.
And Stick is another blind man, but he doesn't have Daredevil's cool hypersenses.
Yeah.
So he's like bad.
Are they gonna just like? Oh man, I can see a comedy coming from this. They're talking to each other, but they're both looking in totally opposite directions or something. Now hit me, and he keeps swinging. And he's like, "You can't. I'm too fast for you." But they're not even close.
And he's dodging the way that he would be hitting if he were on the other side of him. Oh, this sounds like a better show. Hey, Marvel, give us another check for this 20,000 idea.
It's actually Daredevil.
Oh my gosh.
20,000. That's actually Daredevil meets Deadpool. That's what that one would be. Deadpool would be like, I'm a blind guy.
I gotta tell you something cool about my pick of the week once we get to it about Daredevil. So try and remind me.
Okay.
And then another tease for the audience.
Okay.
There.
Pick of the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. Actually.
Okay.
Remind.
Going over to the DC side of, look, Brandon Routh, handsome man.
Oh, why do you think they got him to play Clark Kent? Clark Kent's a handsome dude.
That's true. So, we're looking at Arrow pictures, for those of you who don't know, which Arrow is really good. And Brandon Routh is coming in as Ray Palmer, a.k.a. the Atom.
Yep.
One of the superheroes who can shrink himself down to like 12 inches or 6 inches or the size of an atom if he wants to. Haha, that's why he's got the name. But they also announced...
Ooh, that's Felicity in her Power Girl dress again.
She really likes that number, doesn't she?
She got the boob window, apparently.
I like the Arsenal look. I like the Red Arrow style.
I hate the actor though.
Really?
Yeah,
He's okay.
Butt chin.
He's okay.
He has a butt for a chin.
Actually, you know what? Yes, he does.
He does. See,
Yep.
told you.
Yep.
Now that's all you'll be able to see when you watch the show.
Dang you.
I'm very. If you people don't know me and Corey, I'm very good at ruining everything for him.
And I'm very good at getting Scott addicted to things.
Yeah. So I will say something like, you should really watch Warehouse 13. And then you should also notice how Micah never moves her upper lip. And then that's all he'll be able to see forever.
Yeah.
I just ruined it for him. He still watches
Probably
it all.
ruined it for a few of you at home if you wanted to watch Warehouse 13.
She doesn't move her upper lip when she talks.
And it's really weird.
Black Canary on Arrow. I ruined her for you.
Because
she just talks and doesn't really move her mouth.
She just like talks without moving her lips at all.
Even when she's not in character.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't move her lips, doesn't move her mouth. It's just like
I
sound
could
just comes
understand
out.
it if it's not.
She's like the screaming aliens. They just open their mouth. Ah! But she opens her mouth and she has full vocal range that comes out apparently. Actually, it's not a very good vocal range.
No, not at all. Well, along with these pictures, they've also cast Nick Tarabay, who is from Spartacus. I'm not sure as what character, but he's a guy in Spartacus. So
he's not Spartacus because Spartacus is dead.
Okay,
he had colon cancer or something in real life and died.
But they're casting him as Digger Harkness,
mate,
aka Captain Boomerang.
G'day, mate. Think he'll have a good Australian accent? Because I definitely don't.
I really hope so. I really hope it's better than yours.
Put another shrimp on the bobby. Put another boomerang in your face.
That went to Italian at the end.
I guess.
Put another boomerang in your face.
No, if I was speaking Italian, it's boppity boopy, boppity boopity boppity.
I think it is this guy right here. The one being held. I don't think it's the,
I actually kind of like Captain Boomerang. Stupid name, kind of a dumb idea for a character. And then we saw Assault on Arkham, and I went, "Wow, he's actually pretty cool character."
Yeah. Not really much to the character other than he can throw really well as long as he's not like throwing straight. Like he does that in Assault on Arkham too. Like he's okay at hitting the bullseye and everything with the darts, but then he like goes behind turns around and throws the dart in the air and it like curves over and lands in the bullseye perfectly.
Yeah.
Which, seems implausible.
He has okay aim looking straight at it and actually aiming, and then when he throws it like a boomerang, everything apparently can be thrown like a boomerang.
The boomerang is kind of a bad weapon because it's not like just throw it directly at him.
Say that to any Aborigines in Australia.
That's true.
And they would knock you out
it?
with it. Because it is a weapon
Yeah.
they use for hunting.
I think it's kind of weird. Okay, so the way he uses it, though, he uses it to, like, curve it out and then hit from the side. Just throw it directly at the target, man.
That's not
Don't give him time.
Boomerangs don't do that. They automatically curve on their own.
I just got this shot
so
of
when you
him
throwing
it straight at somebody, and it like gets back there and then curves back. It's like, oh, that almost hit me.
Here's the one thing: if you see Captain Boomerang running at you and he hurls a boomerang, just take a few steps forward.
Yeah,
and it'll totally miss you.
Oh no, Captain Boomerang!
And then you can wait for just a second as it goes. And then back to him because it'll go right past you.
Yep. And a little note for people battling Captain Boomerang: if it misses you the first time, be ready for the rebound because that's always what happens. And I guarantee you it's going to happen in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's going to be like, "You missed," because, it's Arrow. And he's going to be like, "Oh, did I?" Oh my gosh. That was like Southern. That was like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The Colonel is here, everyone. Oh. He's going to bring us some KFC.
I say, my boomerangs are on its way. Okay, so moving on from that horrible impersonation.
All of our impersonations are terrible. We're terrible.
That is true.
And we want to get into voice acting. That'd be awesome to do, but we have no other voice other than our own voice. I say. I do declare.
Well, I hardly ever. All right, I got that written down, so that'll be funny.
Yep.
That might be, although I misspelled boomerang.
I don't know how to spell it either.
Yeah. Scott,
2 arms, 3 B's, whatever.
I'm super excited.
Another Daredevil news.
No.
Oh, okay.
What's my favorite part of the DC like conglomerate of everything that they have?
The animated universe.
Animated universe. I love the Justice League. Love Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
And they just announced that they're going to come out with a Justice League 3-part miniseries for in 2015.
Nice.
From like the people who did Batman animated and all the Justice League stuff. So it's going to be called Justice League Gods and Monsters, and they said that they're going to take kind of a darker take on the characters of the Justice League, which they always say
Nolan-verse in them. Yeah, they're turning them all into Nolan-verse.
Well, the article points out that they're not really sure how much darker they can get because Batman ripped open...
He's already black.
Yeah. Well, most of him. But Batman ripped open Frankenstein in one of the recent comics to try and to find out what the secret is so he can get his son back.
He didn't rip him open. He systematically tortured him and cut body parts off of him.
Yeah. And then
knowing
he enlisted the help...
that Superman can do that, of course, but still.
Or Frankenstein.
Yep. Yeah.
And he enlisted the help of Ra's al Ghul, like his arch enemy, to try and get his son back, which is pretty dark for Batman. And Batman's always been a dark character.
Yeah.
As for Superman, New 52 Superman's kind of a dick.
He can be.
He can be pretty dickish.
But what do you expect from a guy that does all this stuff for people, and then all they do is bitch and complain about him not doing enough?
True. And that's why the other point that they brought up is the Superman in Injustice is on a murder spree. The Injustice Gods Among Us comic.
Yes.
He is pretty much...
From the alternate universe, not the real universe.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like how much... Because this is supposed to be kind of like an alternate reality version of the Justice League, too.
Interesting.
So it's like, how much darker can you go other than murdering every... Like, the latest thing that the Injustice Superman did, murdered a bunch of Green Lanterns, most of them, and Garnet, the Guardian of the Galaxy. Or of the universe or whatever.
I think I just said Gannett.
Gannett? I don't know.
Because there's no, like, apostrophe.
I thought there was an H in there, though. Gone.
I don't know. I have to go look.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then as for Wonder Woman, even before the New 52, she broke somebody's neck on camera in the comic, and now she's the goddess of war.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much already dark, brutal characters.
But she's always been a warrior. I mean, she's always used the sword to get her point across, basically.
Puns.
The lowest form of humor.
Yep. No, toilet humor.
Okay, that's true.
I think if we have to rank them, toilet humor is just below puns.
Yes.
In fact, you might say that poop humor is in the sewers and pun humor is above the sewers.
So that was both.
Yep.
So you just created a new
poop puns.
Poop puns. You just made a new type of humor, and it's horrible. It's horrible.
So I don't know.
When's that coming out? 2015, right?
Yeah, and then it's going to lead up.
Miniseries.
Yeah, and then it's going to lead up to a movie in late 2015 called Justice League Gods and Monsters, an animated movie.
So are they only doing one season then?
It's only 3 episodes. It's like a mini-series.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd be a full season.
I was hoping so too, because I love Justice League. That's going to be my pick of the week probably next week.
It's available on Netflix.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch Justice League first. Yes, it's kind of old school because it was like
it's like
late
90s,
early 2000s. And then Justice League Unlimited was the one they created in like 2005.
Yeah, which brings in a lot more characters.
It's like and it's basically a continuation. It's not a whole new reboot or anything. It's pretty much kind of where they left off. They kind of just pick it up, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But unless you've seen the first one, you might not know who some of these bad guys are. But it's still great.
Yeah,
so
and they
great.
have the best voice cast for that. Like they have what I consider the core voice cast. You got your Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Tim Daly as Superman.
I think Tim Daly is only Superman in Unlimited. I think they switch him because I think it's somebody else for just regular Justice League. But they're both good. Yeah. They both do good work. Susan Eisenberg is Wonder Woman, and she does really well. Michael Rosenbaum is the Flash. Yep. And let's see, Phil Lamar is John Stewart. see there's and then I can't remember who the Martian Manhunter is, but he's another one of those actors that you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And of course Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor when he's in there, which Clancy Brown is amazing.
Is the Lex Luthor voice. Everyone else is kind of like meh, but when you hear him, you're
Although
like, oh my
James
gosh.
Marsden did really well in DC Universe Online.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the only Joker that ever matters when it comes to animated or real life
Mark Hamill.
dear Mark Hamill, the Saint Hamill.
Although we were actually fairly impressed with the Assault on Arkham Joker.
That's true. Troy Baker.
Yeah, the guy that did it was nearly Mark Hamill level.
There were a couple times where you could be like, "Oh yeah, I can tell it's not him," but there were other times where you're like, "This sounds just like him."
Which is good.
Yeah,
good. They probably said, here's everything that Mark Hamill has ever said as the Joker. Listen to this over and over and over until you have it perfect.
It's like, well, I want to make my own Joker.
Nope.
Too bad.
Too bad. You have to
The only other Joker that even holds up to that kind of par is I really enjoyed John DiMaggio's Joker in Under the Red Hood. John DiMaggio is Bender.
I still have not seen that one.
You have. We've talked about it before. You actually have. You just keep forgetting about it, which is fine. We can rewatch.
I must not have had a very good impression about it then.
I think it's really good. You just kind of get on your phone every time we try and watch it.
Okay, I need to sit down, no phone, and just watch the whole thing.
John DiMaggio, for those of you who don't know, is Bender from Futurama, and he does a really good job as kind of a throatier, deeper version of the Joker. So Comixology, we talked to you after Comic-Con how they announced a bunch of their comics going DRM free.
Comixology is an app that me and Cory both use all the time
for all digital comics. Yeah,
pretty much every company that produces comics in a digital format puts them up on Comixology as well.
Yep. So they just announced a second wave of companies that are going DRM free, so you can download these comics without
as a backup.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about losing them if the site ever goes down. And they include IDW Publishing, which is amazing.
Great.
Valiant Publishing.
Great.
Aspen Comics, Action
Oni
Lab.
Press, I think, is manga.
Okay.
Manga or whatever.
Fantagraphics. Third World Studios, don't really know them. Blind Ferret Entertainment, who do all the Looking for Group comics, and I think some of the Control-Alt-Delete comics as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they also do one called
some web comics in there.
Yeah, they do some web comics in there.
Let's see.
Least I Could Do was one of theirs.
Yeah. So they're joining Image Comics, Dynamite, Zenescope, Monkey Brain, and Top Shelf, and all these other ones that have already gone DRM free. So
pretty much every comic producer or every comic company but DC and Marvel
and Dark Horse.
Oh, and is Boom in there? No, Boom's not on the
Boom's
list.
not on the list, and
Zenescope,
neither is
they're in there.
Vertigo, but I think Vertigo's owned by DC now. So
yeah, Vertigo is DC.
Yeah.
So you'll never see
some of the bigger names still aren't there, but these ones, I mean, there's a lot of good comics from these smaller publishers,
especially IDW.
Yeah, IDW does great work. Don't they do Why the Last Man? And no, that's Image.
That's Image, which is in that list as well.
IDW does.
They do like Transformers. They do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They do Star Trek. Oh my gosh,
I think they do Red Sonja. I think is in there.
I think so too. Witchblade, I think might be in there.
Witchblade and Red Sonja, great women comics. And Gail Simone's work on Red Sonja, I hear, is amazing.
Yeah,
so for those of you who like,
didn't she do
powerful women?
Didn't she do Batgirl for a little bit?
Yep, Gail Simone did Batgirl for a while.
Like issue 1 through 12 or something. She did it for like a year.
Yeah,
and it's really good comic.
I think
she's a great writer.
Well, I think they took her off Batgirl, and she's like, I'm leaving then, because I don't want to do.
Yeah, and she's pretty much only does female characters,
which is great.
She doesn't write and I don't think she writes any male characters.
And she writes good female characters.
Yeah, strong, independent. Not have to rely on a man for anything,
and not have to just be sexy for sexy's sake.
Yeah, and they're not weird, and ultra feminist or anything like that would put anyone off. They're just great, awesome girls.
All right. Couple last things here. Quick news. The D&D Next Dungeon Master's Guide has been delayed for all you Dungeon Masters out
sad
there.
news.
Yep, very sad.
We wanted to get that and start doing a campaign for that.
The Player's Handbook's out, and the Monster Manual is coming out in September, but they said they need a little bit more time for the Dungeon Master's Guide.
That's good, though.
Which means some rule tampering needs to be done, and some
tweaking.
balancing and everything.
Maybe they can change the movement.
That We'll talk about that later. I disagree with you. We disagree fairly. Like, we were talking about this the other day, that we don't often disagree, but we actually have quite a few things that we don't agree on. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. It's mostly casting things.
Yeah, it's like casting and I don't know, just specifics about stuff. Which Marvel movie this year was the best? I mean, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
No,
sure.
it's Captain America.
Ask anyone, and they'll say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Except for me, because I'll say Captain America: Winter Soldier.
And you'd be wrong.
No, I don't think I would be. All right, Scott, you like the Disney animated, right?
Yes, I love Disney.
Well, a bunch of Disney animated veterans, learn the lingo. Lingo?
Linguo, dead.
Linguo is dead. They came out and said that they are working on a steampunk animated movie, like an independent one, called Hullabaloo.
Okay.
And from the few pictures that they show, it looks very steampunky and cool.
Wait. Go back to that. They're mixing 2D animation and 3D.
They do that a lot these days, Scott.
No, but that's like super obvious.
Or it's like super test footage.
Okay, it better be, because that looks bad.
Well, who knows?
The background, all the 2D animation, I think looks fantastic. But then they like superimpose this big gun in her hands.
That's kind of 3D.
And it is 100% 3D generated, computer generated graphic, and it's not good looking.
Yeah, so that's coming for you people who like steampunk out there.
Are they doing traditional animation where they drop frame by frame, or are they going to do it on the computer in 2D?
I think they're doing... I think it's going to be computer. It's just cheaper to do computer by this point.
And faster. Much faster.
And, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have to draw 3 seconds of scene that took... Because it's 24... What are they, 24 frames per second or whatever on that? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. I'll have to see how it goes for everything else. All right, now let's move over to probably a little bit of big news that you're kind of worried about, as far as I could tell. Minecraft.
I haven't heard it yet, so...
Oh, you haven't heard this?
Oh, yeah, I have heard this, actually.
Yeah, Minecraft, Mojang Studios.
Mojang.
Was bought by Microsoft.
No!
Are you okay there, Scott?
No, that's what the no was for. Do I need to go all Darth Vader on you? No!
Why is this a problem for you? By the way, $2.5 billion that they expect to make back by next year.
Make back? Oh, probably just from purchasing.
Purchasing, yeah. I saw a funny comic of them charging property tax to people who make a house in Minecraft.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like $10,000.
So I kind of like Microsoft. I mean, you got Xbox 360, Xbox One, that kind of stuff. That's great. I'm a Windows admin. I mean, that's what I do for work, because I do Windows tech. And
another look into Scott's personal life. Ooh, I know everything there is to know about you now. So does the audience.
Yeah. I'm a geek and a computer nerd. So.
What? Those things don't go together.
I know, right? But so I like Microsoft because I'd rather fix or use Microsoft than use anything else out there. I've used the other things, so don't give me that crap, people out there that are fanboys of Linux.
You have an iPhone right
Solaris. There. I know. Well, that's different though.
That's what I'm saying is, for those people thinking you're a Microsoft fanboy.
I've got an iPhone. I've got iOS. I've got an Android tablet. I've got a Linux machine in the house that I use. I mean, it's just, so I've used them all. Anyways, but Microsoft is, they call it a 3.0 company, I believe, is what the nickname is.
Okay.
First generation's, third generation or second generation's okay, and third is where it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So get ready for 3 patches before Minecraft gets all their bugs fixed.
Oh.
You know, that kind of stuff. Like, I hope that when they buy it, they just like absorb the team that's doing it and they just keep doing it.
I know the head of the company, can't remember his name, but he said he's taken his share and he's retiring from the company. He's not going to stay on as like a business head. He wants to go back to just designing games because he never thought that Minecraft would be this big.
Did they say how much they bought it for?
Yeah, 2.5 billion.
Billion.
Oh,
You said million at first, I think.
Sorry.
I was going to say, that's not that much.
No, $2.5 billion that they.
Yeah, I would take my cut and retire as well.
I'm sure he's going to sit in the cave for years and years and years doing whatever he wants, and then he's going to come out with a game that everybody's going to be like, oh, he came out with another one and it's amazing.
Yeah, he can go work on Space Engineers.
There's a new game that I saw today on YouTube called Magicite, and it is this cool 2D scroller where you run around and you gather materials for, like, in a Minecraft style, and craft weapons and everything for it. And you got to run through these levels and beat monsters and everything. You do it as a team of 1 to 4 people, and you have to get to the end and beat the level. And if you take too long gathering materials and trying to get up enough, like, health potions and everything to beat the end boss, suddenly this monster appears called, like, the Spectre or something and just wipes you out.
You mean
you're on a timer.
The
enraged timer?
No, the Spectre.
Oh, Jim Corrigan?
Jim Corrigan appears.
Yes, and he just kills you all.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to check it out. It looks kind of like Towerfall if Towerfall were a survival game, and I know you like Towerfall.
Towerfall is a blast. So I have an Oya.
Oya!
The little tiny Kickstarter, $99, video game box, all indie games. A lot of them are free.
You can get emulators for the old Nintendo
Yeah, you can get
games.
emulators and dumb stuff on it. It's got, USB ports for an extra hard drive.
Emulators are not dumb stuff, Scott.
I said dump stuff on it.
Oh, dump stuff. And dump stuff on it.
Yeah, I like games.
Okay.
And one of them is called Towerfall, and it's a blast. It's basically, you get 4 people playing, and you just have bow and arrows, and you shoot each other and throw bombs at each other.
Yep. And it is really cool.
It's actually really fun. It's like super 16-bit graphics, but it's great.
And so that's why I wanted to bring Magicite to your attention.
Okay.
We'll have to watch some videos.
I wonder if they've got that on the Oya as well.
Oh, that would be really cool if they did. All right, last little bit of news is a video game turning into a movie for those of you who are
Destiny.
No.
Dang it, because that was that trailer. They should just make a movie about that.
I actually want to watch it again.
I want to watch it like 12 times.
In a row. Just put it on a loop.
Yeah, so
it's like 10 hours of the Hypnotoad or 10 hours of the Starship Enterprise traveling in the background. Yep. No, Shadow of the Colossus. This is an old PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah, a pretty popular game if I recall.
Yeah, in that game, for those of you who haven't played it, you run around as this person. You have to kill 8, I think, Colossi that are roaming around the world. And you do this by climbing up on their backs and climbing up their legs and everything and dodging their hands as they try and smack you off and getting up to the top and killing them. And you're doing this all to save a princess, of course, because that's what you do in video games. Kill things to save a princess.
Why, if we just get rid of the princess class, there will be no more
it's like
kidnappings.
No princess here. Oh, really? Oh, man.
Okay, well, have a good day. See you later.
You're right. Princesses are the cause of all evil.
Yep. If there weren't princesses, there would be no evil bad guys to capture them.
Okay. We have just solved every fantasy problem.
No princesses.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the trailers for this week. All right.
So, trailers this week. We've got the first one that came out was a new Flash promo. The site that I went to said that it was going to have additional superheroes being teased, and we watched it, and no.
Nope. Didn't have anything.
No. It has the guy that eventually turns into Vibe, which makes sense because he's a scientist there, and he gets exposed to the super collider
Wouldn't
that explodes.
Mean that she probably has powers too?
Possibly.
She's gonna become
the scientist girl.
Maybe she'll be like Stargirl or something.
I don't know.
Well, Stargirl's powers come from the staff. So.
Yeah, and she's not cute enough to be Stargirl.
No, I'm not that.
Maybe Felicity will be Stargirl.
No, she's Power Girl.
No, she is not. No.
No.
But it was just like 50 seconds worth of, hey, this is what happened. And pretty much everything we already know.
Yeah, and that could also be because we watched the pilot.
Yeah, we did watch the pilot, so.
So go check it out. It's really cool.
That one's coming out soon as well, right?
Yeah.
Is it September?
No, October.
Okay, but like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be like the 3rd or something like that.
Yeah,
so
which we're going to sit down and watch it.
It's coming up fast.
We're going to watch it again.
That pun go over well? It's coming up fast?
It's going to be here in a flash.
I wasn't trying to go that like blatant with it. And then Arrow's the day after it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And then Constantine is late October. That one's coming out.
Okay.
Just in time for Halloween.
Halloween?
I almost said Christmas. I was like, Halloween.
You started with Hal, though. Howlessness.
Yeah, it's just, I have a weird mind. Just
apparently.
Do not enter is what my mind says.
Corey.
Yes.
Big Hero 6.
Yay!
Excited? My ears. I'm assuming you're excited.
I am very excited.
Okay. They came out with a bunch of new TV spots. Basically all Baymax. I think he's going to be the star of the show.
Of course. They're definitely...
They're like 17 seconds, just Baymax getting into trouble and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just all on YouTube if you want to check them out too. And I saw a new trailer today, which piqued my interest, mainly because... So I'm a big sci-fi geek.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone knows I'm a sci-fi guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Extraterrestrial.
So it's from the creators of a movie called Grave Encounters.
Yes.
My wife loves that movie because it's basically a found footage of going to an insane asylum and finding like ghosts.
And this is why I'm surprised it caught my attention. It has sci-fi because it's about aliens, which is great. However, it's mostly a horror or a thriller, and I am not the biggest fan of those.
Yeah.
Not because I get nightmares or anything. They just don't pique my interest.
Yeah, you're not one to have to you don't need adrenaline to make you happy.
I get adrenaline. I get adrenaline from like sci-fi. I mean, like going to space and stuff is where it gets me going.
But the concept from the trailer looks really cool, though.
Yeah, I don't like horror for the simple fact that I have a hard time immersing myself into it.
Because you're like, just get up, just run, don't open that door.
I'm like, it's just a stupid ghost. It's just a stupid ghost.
Oh, I have another movie to tell you about.
Just sprinkle some salt on the ground. Boom. Done.
Yep.
Game over.
Hula hoops with salt in them. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You're invincible.
Yep. Really quick, I hate to go off topic right in the middle of a trailer, but I just remembered about
this. That's it. You ruined it. Podcast over. I quit.
All right. Keep geeking out. Well, okay. So Stephen King, master of horror.
Yes.
He's coming out with a
subtle horror, not just gore, which is what a lot of things are leaning towards.
They're just torture porn these days.
They're just torture porn, exactly, like Saw and stuff.
Well, he came out with a short story called Cell a little while back. Not one of his best stories, from what I hear.
Is it about a car salesman that turns evil?
No, it's about a telephone call that goes to everybody in the world on their cell phone, and anybody who listens to it. I was saying
SALE.
Yeah, but anybody who listens to this phone call becomes a zombie.
They all turn into Ring Girl.
7 days.
Yeah.
No, anybody who listens to this telephone call.
Isn't this the same thing as the sneaker wore tennis shoes? Or the computer wore tennis shoes, or whatever it's called?
Where Maximum Overdrive?
No, he gets a phone call and he gets a computer virus turned into his brain that makes him super smart. I think it's called the computer wore tennis shoes.
I've never heard of that. But this turns people who hear this signal into flesh-eating zombies.
Interesting.
Yes. So that one looks.
So it calls everyone at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So only the people that don't have cell phones aren't
only
affected.
The people who don't have cell phones, or like the people who are like, I'm busy, I can't answer my phone right now. You know, that
wouldn't be me. I would be a flesh-eating zombie. I'd be like, oh, unknown number. Hello. I love messing with them.
Yeah.
when I get all kinds of random sales calls.
I can't do that anymore because my work phone is my regular phone. So if somebody calls me on that number, I can't be like, "Hello, chap, how you doing today?"
So you definitely would be a flesh-eating zombie.
Yeah, I actually would
And if
be.
I didn't, I promise I would kill you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Would you take care of my wife too?
If she's a zombie, I'll
take care of her.
If she's a zombie, I'll kill her as well. If she's not, I'll still kill her because if you can't have her, no one can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. That makes me sound terrible, Scott. Let's go back to extraterrestrial.
If I can't have her, no one can. Extraterrestrial, sci-fi thriller. Now I'm totally lost.
Well, you were talking about horror and why you didn't like horror.
Yeah.
But the sci-fi seems to be grabbing you for this movie.
Yes, because it's got a lot of alien stuff, and not just like the Fifth Kind.
Yeah.
Fourth Kind.
The fourth kind.
Fifth Kind was the sequel.
That was the Fifth Element, actually. That was the sequel.
Okay. The Fourth Kind, where it's all found footage stuff, and you don't see any aliens, and it's just
It's like every episode of Finding Bigfoot.
Or X-Files.
Yeah.
Where you see, I mean, I think you do in X-Files, but half the episodes are like them looking at stuff after the fact.
Yeah. Squinting their eyes at bright lights that are shining in their faces.
Yeah. Aliens and lights.
The light crew on that show was terrible. Like they just like screwed up all the time.
That's because they didn't have anyone like Christian Bale to yell at them about their lighting.
Well, good for you.
So yeah, it's a sci-fi horror, and it goes back to Roswell Greys, the Roswell Greys, the aliens.
You see one in the trailer, and they look really good. Like they look creepy, but still being the Roswell Greys.
Yes.
And the only problem that I had with the trailer was what you pointed out to me. Go figure. when you said that it's a stupid concept for the only rule, like, so when they crashed in Roswell, they made it
1957, I believe, or whatever.
When Fry became his own grandpa. They made a treaty with the Roswell Greys that basically said, we won't fight. We'll be at peace, but nobody interacts with each other.
Yeah.
Humans be humans, aliens be aliens. If you crash here, we won't.
And it's
we won't bug
stupidest
you.
concept because the human government says, sure, no interaction with you guys. That's great. We won't interact with you.
Yeah,
because
we won't hurt you or anything like that.
if you or not, no engagement is what they call it.
Yeah.
So apparently, if the humans engage with the Greys, then it's all out war.
Yeah.
Well, that's all well and good if you were to tell your entire population, don't engage aliens.
Yeah.
But they don't.
No.
So of course, automatically there's a war.
Yep.
Because some spaceship crashed
and
all
stupid teens.
All these stupid teens in the cabin in the woods.
Yep. Of course, it's the cabin in the woods.
That's the only horror movie
Oh my
I
gosh.
love that movie.
When we
not
talk
even
about
horror,
horror movies, which we're gonna do a topic like that around Halloween. I think that's like gonna be our top pick.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for that spoiler.
It crashes, and of course the teens go and engage them. So then all of a sudden it's war.
Yep. And there's abductions involved and everything.
It's like there should be a clause that if stupid teenagers of either race involve or act with other teenagers of the race, or Hicks, alien Hicks or human Hicks, doesn't matter. If there's Hicks involved,
that Gray that crash landed was a drunk teen, right?
Probably. That's why he crashed.
Yeah, and I bet you that he's
in a super
girlfriend,
spacecraft,
who was alien drunk teen pregnant, was in there too, and he crashed it on purpose so that he didn't have to worry about caring for that alien child.
They were watching the Real Housewives of Omicron 8.
Omicron Persei 8.
Yep.
So none of that's actually true. Extraterrestrial looks good though.
Yeah, it looks interesting. So we'll go see it. The next trailer, Hunger Games.
Finally,
a full trailer, not a little snippet, not a 20-second
teaser
TV spot, like a full-on trailer. Man,
looks like the next Hunger Game. Yeah, Katniss shoots an arrow at a ship and it explodes.
I think that was Gale.
No. Gale missed. She
actually hit.
Yeah, and
okay,
because he was supposed to be targeting the one on the left, and she's targeting the one on the right, and his crossbow. Which, by the way, you live where you can have guns and hovercrafts, and you make a crossbow.
I pointed that out to you
exactly,
again,
and it bugs me.
Yep. Hey guys, we have gun tech, and this happens in all kinds of movies.
Yeah,
we have gun technology, but then they use a bow and arrow.
So
the only person that ever got away with it is Hawkeye and Arrow so far.
Yeah.
No one else can really pull it off.
Mostly because they look cool doing it.
Yeah, but even then, I mean,
And Katniss, the
you've
only
got
reason
you've
she
got a
pulls
bow
it
and
off-
arrow. You've got a bow and arrow that has what, a maximum of a couple hundred yards tops.
Yeah.
Tops.
Mm-hmm.
Where even like one of the cheapest rifles can
Like
get
500.
10 times that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The only reason that Katniss has a bow and arrow in this is because
So that's
it's
all
her,
she knows how to use.
Well, and it's her iconic, like, that's what she used in the arena. And
Now, if it was like she pulled the string back and then pulled a trigger and shot bullets,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
but she's shooting arrows with explosives on the end of them.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for her to pull out
boxing
the
glove.
boxing glove arrow.
I knew you were going there.
I got the hovercraft.
But it's an actual full trailer for part 1.
Looks
Finally,
good.
looks
Yeah.
good. We'll go
Get
see
some
it.
good interaction there. You got to finish reading that book.
I've read the
start.
first half. I probably read enough for the movie.
Yeah,
But
that's true. It's not. I mean,
it's the least. It's not the best.
so I have a problem with the
It goes.
Hunger
I mean, it
Games.
goes 1, 2, 3 in
Yeah.
as far as like quality. Which ones are good or not?
I liked the series. I couldn't put it down. My schoolwork suffered because I couldn't put it down. There were plenty of classes at college that I spent reading.
I couldn't put it down until the 3rd book.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't continue reading it. I had a
Yeah.
really hard time with it.
It just seems like to me, like when I watch these trailers for the movies and everything, I just go, it doesn't feel like the book.
Yeah, it's
did.
nowhere close to it.
So it's not, and I'm usually
Like Harry
not-
Potter.
Yeah, well, no,
Same kind of
see,
thing.
I'm not a book snob about Harry Potter. I think the movies are great for what they are, and the books are great for what they are. And
But they're totally different.
Yeah, and when it comes to like comic book movies, I'm never like, oh, that character's origin story is different. I don't like it. I'm like, oh, cool, that's a new take on the character. But for some reason, the Hunger Games it doesn't work in the movie form for what they have. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have
See
to
how
see.
it is. The last trailer, not really new, but one we haven't done yet. Maze Runner, another book series, just like I don't know if it's a series, but another book.
It is a series.
like Hunger Games, about a runner that goes through a maze,
Yeah.
and not like an actual maze, like just corn
It's like, yeah.
maze.
Oh, there's a bunch of corn around.
Yep.
It's a corn maze.
Okay.
It's a maze.
Yep. But it looks interesting actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those that I haven't read the book, so I can't say I'm super excited for it. I've had a couple people tell me, some people say that they loved the book and it was great, and I've had other couple people that say that it was okay,
It looks like the Hunger Games. It looks like a cash grab for the Hunger Games.
pretty much.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like somebody said, "Oh, the Hunger Games is popular. I think I'll make a book about kids in a maze."
Well, the book's supposedly good.
Yeah.
And the other one that came out with the girl, Divergent.
Divergent.
That's another good book that's supposed to be really good or whatever. So, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. It's just another, another one of those things
Yeah.
where
And they had like 4 or 5 trailers up, and
we watched 2 and they were pretty much exactly the same.
we're like, yeah, we're
And
done.
we're like, okay, we're done.
We know
we'll
what
watch
we need to
something
know.
else.
All right, Scott, you want to go ahead and get into our topic of the week this week?
Sure.
This week we are talking your favorite subject, science fiction.
Yay.
Next week we'll be talking fantasy, my favorite subject, and then the week after that we'll get into after our picks of the week. So there's kind of something we want to tell you, the listeners, so you can be ready for us, basically.
Yep.
But this week it's sci-fi, and we're gonna start out and we're gonna talk about classic sci-fi, like 1950s.
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer. Well, that was actually,
Was that later?
yeah, that was
So,
like
like
the
60s?
90s.
No, I thought it was
No,
earlier.
the Rocketeer's like 1990,
No,
2000.
they had earlier sci-fi.
Nope. I'll look it up here in just a second.
But you're talking about Lost in Space.
Yes, Lost in Space, your Barbarella, your Flash Gordon.
Yep.
I almost said Zap Brannigan instead
Your
of
Zap
Flash.
Brand. That's okay. Fine. Flash Gordon, Zap Brannigan, same
Yeah,
thing.
he's like that. Your Buck Rogers in the 24th and a half century.
Yep.
Not your
Yep.
Duck Dodgers.
Not Duck Dodgers, Buck Rogers.
What do you feel about classic sci-fi?
I like it. Like, don't get me wrong. I like classic sci-fi because it gave everything. I know there's a TV show called The Rocketeer.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's like
'cause I
super
thought
old
he was-
school.
I thought he was just a comic character before that.
He
Let me
just
see.
Corey just showed me the movie Rocketeer, 1991. He has a smug look on his face, like told you.
Let's find out here. Not seeing any Rocketeer.
There's a show with like a guy with a rocket pack on, same helmet, and it's black and white.
Hmm.
TV episode,
I
TV
don't know.
It's maybe too old for IMDb.
Yeah, maybe. Do they only go back to 1955?
I don't know, Marilyn.
I like the classic.
I like
sci-fi.
classic because it started leading up to all the new stuff, obviously.
I like the look of classic sci-fi. I think it's a very cool, stylized look. I mean, I don't want it in my.
Stop the presses. Classic sci-fi. Star Trek: The Original Series.
Yeah, true.
Classic sci-fi. No, it didn't start everything, but it kind of reinvigorated the whole sci-fi genre.
I think it changed the sci-fi genre
Yeah.
too, because up until that point, everything was like unexplained technology and kind of weird bulbous-looking space helmets and things like that. Things like I said, that style that I liked for what it is. I don't want to see every sci-fi thing like that. But then, like you said, Star Trek comes along, the original series, and suddenly we're explaining why this gas is killing people.
Yep.
Oh, and
We're trying to use some kind of science to explain our science
and
fiction.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit too. Do you like your science fiction to have scientific explanations?
Let's get to that in a second.
Okay.
So I like classic sci-fi for the effects that it has on the rest of sci-fi, the whole genre as a whole. I don't like watching the classic sci-fi because they're super campy, they're super cheesy, they have terrible. But that's every old movie from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They have terrible everything. They're just terrible movies
because
they had bad acting, they had bad audio, they had bad effects. I mean,
it's because a lot of the actors were like stage actors and they're transferring over to TV now.
Bad.
And so they're treating it like a stage play and using the dramatic pause. Yeah,
which is
like
Shatner perfected, by the way.
Oh yes, absolutely. He perfected that and using the word sabotage when he means sabotage.
Sabotage.
But you're right. That classic stuff is really cool.
I can't even
look at it, but you don't want to look at it for too long.
Yeah, I can't even watch Star Trek: The Original Series for more than like a single episode because like this is just too dang cheesy.
It's painful.
It's too corny. It's painful. And the acting was okay, but then they get into a fight scene and it was just horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, like 6 inches away from his face when he goes to punch him.
Go watch the Gorn scene again, everybody.
Oh, that's a classic one.
Exactly.
That's classic.
And that's the thing is these things are classic and they tap into that nostalgia now that you're just like, yes.
And there's certain episodes that you need to know from the original Star Treks.
The Tribble episode.
Trouble with Tribbles, Amok Time, City on the Edge of Forever, the one with the Gorn, I can't remember what that's called.
The Naked Tomorrow or something like that, which eventually becomes the Naked Now in the Next Generation series. There's certain episodes in there that you're like, oh, okay, I need to see this episode because it relates to this other Star Trek episode.
Yep.
Or, it's kind of the creation of a sci-fi trope.
Yeah.
They do that a lot in that series. For me, you're right. I wouldn't want to sit down and watch the original series all the way through, or Buck Rogers, or Flash Gordon. But I would love to have a classic 1950s space ray gun as like a prop. I would have that, and I'd be like, look at my classic 1950s ray gun.
Or a Rocketeer helmet and jetpack.
Except for that was 1990, but yeah, you have to find it.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, you gotta give me the proof here. I would like. I mean, the way the ships look, where they're all kind of rounded and multicolored and everything, and they tried to bring that back a little bit in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they had these ships that it wasn't just everything's space aged and metal. It's like, no, let's color our ships and kind of have this cool kind of Western, I would say kind of Western style, like the old classic sci-fi used to have.
Yeah,
because old sci-fi was just basically Westerns in space.
Pretty much.
Yeah, where you went and you found uncharted territory and you as a human colonized it and turned it into peaceful and slept with all the alien babes.
Oh, they.
That
was a huge trope.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
And then you get into the 1980s, and your sci-fi gets a little darker. Your sci-fi gets a little grittier.
Yeah,
it becomes more
Blade Runner.
RoboCop.
Yep, RoboCop was there. I totally drew a blank on the one with Arnold on Mars with his eyes bugging out. And three
Total Recall.
Yes, Total Recall.
Total Recall.
You know.
You couldn't recall Total Recall?
I couldn't. I needed Total Recall.
Yeah.
It gets darker. Logan's Run.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Logan's Run's another one that's
70s
super
and 80s
dark.
sci-fi, Mad Max.
Yep.
I think it's the best examples of dystopian science fiction, which is a cool kind of science fiction where you're like, oh, everything's gone to crap and everybody has to wander around in this wasteland. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I see a dystopian future and I'm really like, I don't want to watch a movie where things are worse.
You've got THX 1183 by George Lucas, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's all dystopian future and stuff.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know. It's just, yeah, you're right. It does. It gets super dark. Alien came out in 1979.
Your first horror sci-fi crossover there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we haven't had examples of dystopian futures. Before that, Soylent Green was a huge dystopian future.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And The Twilight Zone actually is kind of a sci-fi show that brings a lot of these dystopian kind of things are worse than they seem.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I mean,
in the 50s, you had The Day the Earth Stood Still, the first one, not the remake with Keanu Reeves. I mean,
I like that one.
I mean, Constantine. I mean, Neo.
It's all Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
I'm more of a fan of the utopian future where the Earth is united under one banner, like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Or like, let's say maybe like Ender's Game too, would be another example of that.
Kinda, except for they were at war with the Formics.
Yeah, but I mean, Earth is united, and we've got all this cool technology, and it's not like the story isn't about being oppressed, like one society oppressing another.
Yeah,
it's about
humanity as a whole has become one race, one united front. You know, they're going out and exploring, and if you just live on Earth and you just live your life, everything's usually pretty cool, you know?
And you got good technology and everything like that. Oh, holy crap. A good sci-fi that we totally glossed over from the 70s, Star Wars.
Yep.
I mean, you've got
a sci-fi opera.
Yeah, which basically took, again, we have another defining moment in sci-fi history with that set of films. Not only did it,
no one thought it could be done like that.
Yeah, and
Lucas did.
It kind of took the sci-fi
and then he ruined it later.
Yeah, he poor Star Wars.
Poor Star Wars.
But he took this genre that was mostly to television, like, hey, we're gonna just show it on television, maybe a movie here or there that does okay, and he turned it into sci-fi is this powerhouse.
Yeah, it can be a full-length movie. It can be an epic story. Yeah, yeah.
And then you get into the 1990s. You've got the end of the 1980s, start of the 1990s. You got your Star Trek coming back.
Yep.
With the Next Generation and then Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, all kind of rapid fire there.
Yeah, Voyager's late 90s,
which is your perfect example of the utopian future.
Yeah.
Where the Federation is completely combined together.
There's still wars and stuff.
Universal. Yeah. Food is not a problem, and you go around and you explore this expansive galaxy and come across new races and new civilizations, some would say.
You go places bold to go where
no man has gone before. And that's the kind I prefer, because I would like to see my sci-fi be this kind of epic Earth or galaxy spanning quest.
And
Galaxy Quest.
I wouldn't say that one generation or one decade is more dark than another, because back in the 50s there was lots of like, it is the year 2006, the Earth is destroyed and there are giant ants that kill everyone. Like they had a lot of that, a ton of that. There was a ton of, and some invading species kills everyone.
Yeah.
And you've got it through the whole thing, and then you've got other movies, they're just like thinky sci-fis.
Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey came out in 1968.
Ugh.
Yes, I know. It is rough, it is hard to watch, but
it's a classic.
But it is a classic, and you probably should watch it at least one. It's one of the best movies, one of the best sci-fis of all time.
Yeah.
as far as the messages and
Accuracy.
Stanley Kubrick's accuracy. It is, I think, the most accurate.
Would you consider
space.
Gravity a sci-fi?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's not technology that we don't have.
It's still fiction technically because it didn't happen. It
Yeah,
wasn't
okay.
all fact.
all right, and it's all about science. So
and it's all science stuff.
okay, there's the two qualifiers right there. Is it science and did it happen?
Yeah. Is it science fiction? Is it a made up story with science?
I
in
would
it?
say Gravity is probably like the 2001 of this era.
Yes. And if you haven't seen it, you need to.
And
'cause
in Gravity, they make
I
a
think it's
2001
amazing.
reference.
I think it's amazing.
Have you caught the 2001 reference in Gravity?
Catch the 2001
Good jokes, right? We make funny jokes.
I'm gonna slap you.
Okay, don't slap
Yes.
me.
Did you? I mean, there was a couple different references in that movie that's pretty great. So.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes came out in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
There was the one with Charlton Heston in like the 50s. Was it 50s?
That was Soylent Green.
Oh, who's the guy that did the original Planet of the Apes then?
That was Charlton Heston too. He did a lot.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
I don't know what
Cory.
you want. I don't know what you want.
Old Planet of the Apes.
Like who directed it, or who starred in it?
Who starred in it?
Charlton Charlton Heston.
Yeah, he was. You burned it all down. You know.
You maniacs.
Yeah, and that was like the late 50s, early 60s.
That was 70s.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I'm not very good with my sci-fi. We'll talk about fantasy next week. I'll look that up.
We'll be more prepared for the fantasy one. You didn't even kind of just threw this on me at the last moment. I didn't have my nice list of greatest sci-fis you should watch.
1968.
So I said.
Is that really what you
I said 60s.
Late 60s.
Late 50s, 60s.
Well, late 60s, early 70s works too.
Fine.
We're both right.
Okay.
Geek cards secure.
Swap cards.
Um.
Oh, but we can't forget the 2001 Planet of the Apes.
Oh no,
Mark
of
Wahlberg
course
was
not.
great.
You should go
And,
listen to him heavy breathe for the entire movie
Yep, and Helena Bonham Carter.
as an ape.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't wear any makeup for the role. She's just that ugly.
Oh, that's pretty mean. That's pretty mean.
I'm sorry. So Scott, what's your favorite science fiction? Let's start with movie.
I don't know if I could pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pick because I mean I've got movies on both ends of the spectrum.
Okay, then name a few good ones.
Moon,
Okay.
2009. Sam Rockwell, pretty much Sam Rockwell, and then the voice of Kevin Spacey. The only two people in the entire movie.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
It was a fantastic movie. Cheesy graphics, but they were awesome because they were so cheesy.
Yeah.
But the movie itself was great. The acting was great. He played an excellent part in it. That's one of my favorite movies, favorite sci-fis of all time.
Okay.
I love The Fifth Element from Luc Besson.
Yep.
He did Lucy recently, and he's done a couple others. But The Fifth Element.
I'm sure it's good.
Oh yeah, that's right. You haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen that.
Wow.
The entire listenership
Yeah.
of the podcast,
All 6 of them.
just went
Well, half of them went, the other half went, I haven't seen it either. But you should. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
You've got Mila Jovovich as Lilu, Bruce Willis as the
Lilu.
as the Lilu's handler. I can't remember his name.
And
You've got Chris Tucker doing crazy Chris Tucker stuff, which is actually
Normal
super
Chris
annoying.
Tucker.
It's super annoying, but it's hilarious.
You've got Gary Oldman as the bad guy who's trying to sell weapons.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
got
you
that
do,
weird
that's right.
plastic thing on his head.
Yeah, and like
See,
a
I know about Fifth
super bad
Element.
comb over.
I know about
I forgot
Fifth
that
Element.
was Gary Oldman.
Yeah?
I really did. That makes that so much better.
Yes.
Yes.
Knowing what he does now.
And he's got a super like thick Southern accent. He doesn't have his British accent or anything.
I know one that you're extremely excited about, and this is a trend that sci-fi has been taking recently. Is towards more
all the
of
Star
this-
Treks. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
all the Star Trek
Absolutely.
movies. Some are better than others, but
Mm-hmm.
I could watch them all.
Yeah. The trend that science fiction has been taking lately has been this more go towards this is how the science works. This is like if the science doesn't work, we get as close as we can so that, it sounds even more feasible.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like, oh, the microreactor conduits inside the computer screen have fried. It's like, no, the computer screen's fried because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, my point was a movie that's going to do that very well, I think, is Chris Nolan's Interstellar.
I hope
that
so.
You're super excited for.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Some other good ones. You got Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Very good.
You ever watched that before? Where he plays with the
Potatoes?
mashed potatoes. But I mean, man, you put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
So many.
I'm sorry.
Mars Attacks. I love Mars Attacks.
I liked the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I actually, I kind of like it. Keanu's kind of weird in it, but you know, that's just him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pretty good.
A lot of people may give me a little bit of flack, but I don't hate the prequels. I don't think they're as good as they could be.
That's because they're your Star Wars.
Exactly.
That you grew up with them. I was a little bit older, and so I had seen more of the originals, and I could digest the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
More before I saw the prequels, so they were still pretty interesting because it was all, you know, new tech, new CGI, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they were still not as good as they could have been.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the best movies. I can see that now as I'm older, but I watched Phantom Menace over and over again. I wore that VCR tape down.
Yeah. I like Space Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
where they get all the old guys to go back up to space and rescue all the young astronauts.
That's a really good one. Apollo 13 is actually pretty good.
Apollo 13 was good. Gravity was fantastic. Fantastic.
One of my favorite movies, and actually going into TV shows too. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yes, I know it's not completely a sci-fi, but they do a lot of sci-fi shows.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I can watch these old like 50s black and white ones where you're just like, this is so terrible, is because they're there along for the ride to make fun of it with you.
Yeah. Another one that's good is Sunshine. Really enjoyed that one. It's got the guy that played Peter Crane in the original Batman, Scarecrow.
Oh yeah. Cillian Murphy.
Yep, Cillian Murphy on it. It was really good. It's got my favorite
Crane, by the way.
Jonathan Crane. Oh, I'm thinking. Okay. Anyways, it's got my favorite soundtrack.
Yeah.
Favorite soundtrack of all time, I think. On it.
Would you say that Guardians of the Galaxy would be one of your favorite sci-fi
definitely.
movies? And you know, we can be like, oh, Iron Man's a sci-fi, but not really. Oh, Hulk's a sci-fi, not really. Guardians, definitely a sci-fi.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's no way that you can look at that and be like, nope, it's just a superhero movie.
Yeah.
In fact, it's more sci-fi than it is superhero. Have you found that Rocketeer yet?
No, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just, you kind of, like you said, you sprung this on me, so I'm kind of like, oh man, what?
Would you like us to pause while you look these up?
I think I got a good one here.
Because I can do some like.
I found my list.
music.
I found my list of, and I agree with almost all of these. The 25 classic science fiction movies that everyone should watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Hunger Games. There's another dystopian.
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
talked
I
about.
guess that's technically science fiction. Yeah, sure.
Even though they use more bows than guns, but yes.
I'm just gonna pull a couple of these. The original, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951.
Classic.
You know, cheesy graphics and stuff, but it's a classic. Forbidden Planet.
Okay.
And I mean, if you've seen the robot in it, he kind of looks like the robot from
He's almost like the Lost in Space
one. And that one's a good one. Planet of the Apes in 1968.
Yep.
With Charlton Heston. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I mean, HAL 9000, one of the creepiest computers you've ever seen.
I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah. Alien, we already mentioned Alien, the original one. Star Wars, of course. Mad Max.
Yep.
It's another series to watch, 1 and 2.
The remake coming out looks super cool.
Yeah. Arguably one of the best Star Treks, which is
Wrath of Khan.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Probably one of the best that anyone. Blade Runner, I mentioned a little earlier. That one's kind of hard to watch.
I'm not a big fan of Blade Runner, but that's just, you know, like, again, this is your subject.
Yes.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, I actually like it, and I need to watch it more because there's lots of subtle stuff that you don't pick up on every time. E.T. I totally forgot about this. E.T. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a classic one.
That
Elliot.
is true. Elliot.
Tron.
Yes.
I like original Tron. Too. You know, hate their stupid, goofy outfits, but I mean, that started that whole like computer get inside the computer world thing.
Weird
and,
Science.
yeah,
and
Weird Science is a
Hackers.
good one. Hackers another good one as well. Tron 2, Tron Legacy was good. I really liked it. Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
That's oh my gosh.
1985.
Yep.
The year before I was born.
One
I know
of
how old I
the
am.
best movies. I think that's in my top 10 movies. Period.
I love it. I think everyone loves it. I have not met a single person that was like, Back to the Future sucks.
Yeah.
Even, and this is no offense to Corey's wife, but even Corey's wife, who has a really picky taste in movies, she likes Back to the Future.
She loves that.
She enjoys
movie.
it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Giant is another.
Iron Giant is a good
Iron
one.
Giant is that cool mix between that classic and new age style brought together.
Yeah,
because it's
'cause
done
it's
in
set
like
in
the
the
90s.
1950s.
Yeah, but it's set in the 1950s. So you still get this cool. Here's the crazy laser cannons and the crazy look of the robot and everything, but it's really like modernized.
Yep.
Well, at least for the 1990s. So, and
RoboCop. RoboCop's another one. Terminator series.
Oh yes, the Terminator.
Number 2, especially Judgment Day.
Yep, that's
with
I think
T-1000. They've got an anime listed, which I'm actually super into. Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Supposed to be really good. I have not seen it yet.
Akira, I'm sure, is on that list.
Oh, here's one that my best friend is gonna smack me for not mentioning. The Matrix.
Oh yeah, kind of redefined movies.
A great movie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, one of my favorites. 2 and 3, take them or leave them.
Yeah.
But number 1, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that took Tron and like flipped it on its head.
Let's talk about a TV show and movie we haven't mentioned yet, Scott, that we should be smacked for because we are brown coats through and through. Firefly.
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to the TV stuff. I know more about, like, I can remember more of the TV shows for some reason than I can in the movies.
Well, yeah, the movies are like, oh, that's really cool. Okay, move on to the next one. Oblivion was pretty good.
Oblivion. Yeah. You guys didn't like it as much as I did?
Yeah. It was kind of predictable, I would say.
The other one that Tom Cruise just did. Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that one's fun. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh.
Now this is Jim Carrey doing a dramatic role, but it doesn't
seem like
it's sci-fi in the mind erasing, mind altering technology, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. It's actually really good.
Along that same vein, Scanners.
Scanners, yeah, or and the only scene I know from Scanners is the guy getting his head blown up,
which is still kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I love how they explain how they did it with it's a watermelon getting hit with a shotgun.
Yeah,
and full of blood and guts and stuff. Children of Men. This was done in 2006. This is where pretty much everyone on the planet goes sterile.
Oh,
and they find a woman that's pregnant.
Oh yeah,
and they have to protect her.
Didn't they remake that as Babylon AD or something with Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the same thing. I'm not 100% sure. Riddick.
Yeah.
Chronicles of
Riddick and
Chronicles
Pitch
of
Black.
Riddick and Pitch Black. The new one, it was kind of take it or leave it, but I really like Pitch Black. Fantastic. Chronicles of Riddick was okay.
Dread
was fantastic.
Which goes into the comic book side of it too.
Yeah.
Good sci-fi comic books.
Yeah, but Dread could stand alone without the comic.
Oh yeah, that's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
Moon, of course. District 9. District 9. Here's another movie that is just amazing.
Along the same director too, Elysium.
Elysium was pretty good. Yes. But District 9 is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's great. I think I need to make a list of my top 10s and post it, I think.
Yeah.
I think District 9's up there, Moon's up there. I always read through these lists and stuff, and I find all these ones that I'm like, ooh, oh yeah, I remember. That was so awesome.
So write that down for things that you need to do.
Inception was a good one, which you haven't finished yet.
I didn't really care for. Looper
was pretty good. Yeah.
Looper's another good one. Any other movies do you think of, or should we go over to the TV?
Oh, we can do TV now.
Okay.
So lots of movies.
Yep.
I actually enjoyed the Lost in Space movie as well.
Yeah, I did too.
The new one, the remake.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, and so then that kind of leads into TVs.
Because Lost in Space was like
a
one
TV
of the
series.
the early TV series. I would say good sci-fi TV series. Star Trek, of course. Firefly,
Yes.
top on my list. There's no other sci-fi show that could match it. Being Human's really good. Not Being Human.
Firefly.
Almost Human. Almost Human or Being Human.
Almost Human's the one with the robot.
Almost Human.
Robot
then.
cop.
Yeah. iRobot. There's another sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You're right. You're right. You kind of sit there and you're like, oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Firefly's at the top of my list mainly because, not because it's like the best sci-fi out there, but it's just got such great stories, actors, plot, all that fun crap. You know?
It's very well done.
Yeah, very, very well done.
And I think, let's see, some other ones that are really cool. We said Star Trek, we said Firefly. I had one. Dollhouse is a really good one from Joss Whedon too.
Yeah, another Whedonverse. Another Whedonverse is really good.
I would say, no, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's
Eureka.
Eureka.
Eureka was really good.
Warehouse 13.
Yeah,
maybe?
Warehouse 13 I would consider sci-fi.
A Continuum is one that you've been raving
Continuum,
about.
yes.
That's where a girl goes back in time to kill this guy, but then gets stuck there.
She gets sent. So this group of terrorists are going to get executed, but rather than get executed, they had hacked into the system and they activated a time device and got sent back in time. They were only supposed to go back 6 years, and they ended up going back like 65 years.
Oh wow!
Back to 2012. And she noticed it right before they left, and she ran towards them to try to stop it, and got into the time portal as well.
Okay, so
it's actually pretty good. It's made in Canada. It's a Canadian one.
And she's hunting them down. Okay, cool.
I mean, we've got Andromeda.
Yes, Andromeda's a really good one.
Great one. Kevin Sorbo's a religious nutbag right now, but he played a really good captain on that show.
The Farscape.
Yep, Farscape is fantastic. If you like Jim Henson puppets,
yes, you'll love Farscape.
And don't laugh like it's like a derivative laugh. You know, it's great.
Yeah, they do great.
I thought it was.
Effect work.
I saw the first time I ever saw it. It was some like middle of the season episode, and I was like, "This is kind of dumb. Those guys look weird." And then I actually sat down and watched it from the beginning, and I fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it.
Any Stargate? SG-1, Atlantis, Universe.
All Stargates, love them all. Even the made-for-TV movies are really good.
Battlestar Galactica.
Which you haven't watched yet.
Nope, I haven't watched it yet.
That was really good. Futurama.
Yep, probably the only
sci-fi.
The only cartoon sci-fi out there worth anything. I don't think there's any
maybe
others.
I wouldn't say that, but just the one that we watch.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's others out there that are pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't found them yet.
There's some pretty good sci-fi animes out there that I've seen. A couple of them: Martian Ship, Nadesco, Blue Gender.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Nadesco. Blue Gender's okay. I don't really like Blue
Trigun.
Trigun. Oh, I thought you meant Gundam there. No,
No,
Trigun.
Trigun.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, maybe,
Well, no, yeah.
maybe.
Because
Oh crap! I
I
remember
don't
what
like
it is.
Gundam at all. I think
Yeah.
Gundam Wing is a stupid show.
Yeah, I never really liked that one either.
It's too serious. I don't.
Trigun's
like
a fantastic
my
anime.
Yep. It's really good. It's kind of it's along the same lines of Firefly, where
Yeah.
it's
Like a Western space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that line, Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I hear it's good.
Yeah, everyone just loves it.
I love Nadesco though.
Yeah, Martian Successor and Nadesco is what it's called.
Yeah,
I had a friend show me that, and
randomly.
no one else really has ever seen it.
Yeah.
But when I show them, they're like, "Oh, this is actually really good."
They're really good.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I can trump my anime friends on, because they always talk about, oh, like I like this one, I like this one. I'm like, have you ever seen Nadesco, Martian Successor, or
And they're like, "What?"
What? I'm like, you should watch it, and then I just leave it at that. I don't offer to give them any copies.
Because you haven't watched in a while, so you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to tell them the mistruth or anything.
I do need to watch that show again.
And Trigun. Trigun as well.
Trigun and not Blue. Like I said, you like Blue Gender a lot more than I do.
Yeah, and that one's a really adult one too.
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of a everybody dies,
yeah,
except for
pretty
the
much
two
is.
main characters.
Yep, pretty much everyone dies.
Uh-huh.
So
In fact, I think that it's just them at the end.
probably,
Probably, which is crazy.
it's all about bugs. Oh, I got another one about bugs.
Starship Troopers.
Yep, you got it.
Both the Roughneck Chronicles,
Yes.
the TV show that was all CG.
There's a new one out too.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Starship Trooper thing. Starship Troopers the movie.
Yes.
Based off a book.
Yes.
Most people don't know that. It's a book. It's
They
a full-on
rave
book.
about that book.
Yeah, and it's like 500-page book, and of course they took a lot of liberties with the movie, but the movie's a blast.
Yeah.
So
So, Scott, I'll ask you this question.
Ender's
since you're
Game, of course, Ender's
Ender's
Game.
Game is a good one. What most attracts you to sci-fi?
science. Technology.
Science.
I think not only that. Oh, geez. What's the one that we just watched a spoof of Futurama?
Minority Report.
Minority Report is another good one.
Yep.
I think what attracts it to me. Gattaca's a good one. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Good reference. Good job.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh.
I need to. Though.
Do you know what it's about?
Yeah, it's about it's about how everybody is genetically perfect, and this guy gets born normally instead of genetically perfect, and he's
no
all
choice
frail.
of his own.
Yeah. And he takes on his brother's,
just
ID
another
card and
another
everything.
guy's identity. Yeah.
No, it's his brother.
Oh, that's right.
I've heard the plot synopsis and I listened to it on another.
But
podcast,
good job,
so.
good job.
Yeah,
You get an
thank
extra
you.
sci-fi geek
Thank
card.
you. I appreciate that. That was like one out of nowhere.
Yeah. What draws me most to it, I think, is not only, cool technology. I mean, you got crazy guns like in District 9. You've got sweet medical technology like in Elysium, and just all that cool stuff. I think it's just hope. Hope for a good future where humanity has survived itself, basically, not killed itself. And it's just and has thrived.
Yeah.
There are some that aren't that way, but there are others. And usually by the end of the ones that aren't that way, they're better.
Yeah, there's a little ray of sunshine out there.
Just humanity has survived. They've prospered even in the harshest of conditions.
Okay.
Earth gets destroyed, a la Arthur Dent in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, another great sci-fi.
Yeah, another great sci-fi.
And what do they do? Well, we'll just move to Mars or something,
Yeah, they just move to a different planet. It's the hope of the whole thing. It's the idea that we can be innovative enough and we can be smart enough and we can be good enough to each other to be able to move on, improve, make our lives way better through medical technology or moving to another planet if Earth is having issues or is about to die or the sun's about to die or something like that.
That is like way inspiring for a comedy podcast like we have.
I know, right?
Good job. That was great. I know that going on kind of the book side of things, there's a couple sci-fi books that I like. The one that I'll tote here is called The NPC. And it's about this, like they've colonized the entire world or like all the solar system. And this guy lives on Venus on one of these flying airships.
Yeah.
And he's basically a professional non-player character for a video game, which is really cool just to think about. Like he does like a first person shooter where he's just one of the extra soldiers that follows orders. And then he does like an MMO where he's a character in there.
Okay. So is it in the future, set in the future?
Yeah, I think it's set in like 28 something. It's a really good read. I think that's really cool. Actually, that's like your true motivator for science fiction. Is there anything you don't like about sci-fi? Like it can be just in the genre in general, or like a specific thing with movies or books or comics.
I don't like when like you said before, where they try to use science as we know it today, modern science.
Like, say, if something is analog in 2012.
Oh yeah, Pacific Rim.
Another great sci-fi movie.
Another sci-fi monster movie.
Yeah, but you've got your problems with it.
I've got issues. I got a couple issues like that, but they're more nitpicky and less. This ruins the whole movie.
Science fiction movie and TV show that we forgot that made me take off my glasses because we forgot about it. Transformers.
Yeah.
The cartoon specifically. Who cares about the Michael Bay crap?
Yeah.
But like Transformers, the movie is one of those really amazing. And by the way, Transformers is set in the year 2010. So we've already passed that point.
Oh, come on. Where's our Transformers?
I want Bumblebee. I want Cup. Which, by the way, that would be really cool to go as Cup as a cosplay.
So let's talk about books just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we'll go into the pick of the week.
Lead into my pick of the week.
Because that matched up perfectly, and I didn't even expect it to.
The books, there's a sci-fi in books better than any movie or TV show.
Oh, yeah.
I love the graphics in movies and TV show.
Big problem that I have with sci-fi books, though, is when they get into the sci-fi talk, I kind of get lost because I'm not as big into the science as you are.
Okay. You would like a couple of the ones I've read though that are there are a lot of history of like alien races and stuff that they fight and things
That
like
I
that.
do love. Like
Pretty
I'm
much
a sucker for
pretty much
history.
anything from Robert A. Heinlein is good. One of his most famous one is The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
Oh, another great sci-fi one on my side is George R. R. Martin sci-fi stories. He does a bunch of short stories. Night Flyers is a huge one that you should all read about a ship that's traveling across the galaxy. He's got one where this guy is, it's kind of like Moon, actually. He's the only person on this station, and he's trying to, like, he's waiting to go home and everything like that. I can't remember the name of it. Just look up George R. R. Martin sci-fi stories. He's got a lot of good ones out there.
The Orson Scott Card
Yeah,
as an author, I may not agree with his views,
but he writes some
politically
good books.
and otherwise, but he writes some fantastic books. You
Yeah.
got the Ender's Game series, you got the Bean series, which goes off once Ender and Bean split and leave from the first book.
Yeah.
They go their different directions. You get to see Bean's side of the story, and they're really good. Oh man, Dune is a good book. You've got we mentioned it before. Starship Troopers, of course,
Yeah.
is a great book to read. Like I said, Robert A. Heinlein's got dozens
Yeah.
of
He's
sci-fi.
one of the hugest sci-fi writers out there.
Yeah, he's got a ton of stuff. You might even have read some of his stuff in school. I think he wrote Fahrenheit 451.
Yep, I think that might.
No, that was Ray.
No, that's
sorry,
Ray Bradbury.
Ray Bradbury.
Who does some good sci-fi too.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely does a bunch of those. Jeez, and there's so much stuff. Even like C.S. Lewis that wrote the Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe series
He's done
wrote some good sci-fi. I think pretty much every author that's done a normal book or a non-sci-fi book has done a sci-fi book at least some point in time in their life or in their writing history.
Let's see. When I started doing creative writing, it was my second story that I wrote. Was a sci-fi story.
The great thing about sci-fi is you can write about whatever. Cool technology, alien races, crazy space battles, pretty much anything you want. Man, jeez. Anything you want for that. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like scrolling through my novels list really quick of stuff that I have read and
Finding
stuff
great.
and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. I gotta get that one done. But that leads me into my pick of the week.
Well, before you get to that, I'm sorry to
No, that's
tease
fine.
everybody. Next week we will be talking about fantasy. So if you want to email us, we'll give you all the email information at the end about your favorite fantasies, your comments on fantasy. Send us an email. And then the week after that, we are actually going to be reviewing, as our topic of the week, we're going to be reviewing a graphic novel. And that graphic novel, we've decided for our first one, is going to be The Death of Superman. So you've got 2 weeks to read it. It's
Not a sci-fi.
Nope, not a sci-fi. It's super, I think it's cheap to get either online or...
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around like between $10 and $15 on Amazon.
And we're just doing The Death of Superman, not like the Death and Rebirth. Or
Yeah,
Return.
So we're doing only The Death of Superman. We're not doing The World Without a Superman.
Yeah.
And we're not doing Superman Returns.
Yeah. So, you got 2 weeks to read up on that. But go ahead, Scott. Pick of the week, me.
Well, John Carter series.
Yes,
John Carter,
yes.
Mars, by John Byrne. It's good. Isaac Asimov. He's wrote a lot of that stuff too. Like iRobot was his. My pick of the week is a book. Well, and not just a book, but a whole series of books based off this first book. Old Man's War.
I've heard such great things from you about this.
I've heard this a couple times thrown out on different podcasts and from friends and stuff like this. That they're like, dude, you would love this. Read this book. It's great. And I read the reviews on Amazon, and there's very few less than 5-star reviews. Everyone just fantastic. It's written by an author named John Scalzi, Scalzai. He's got The Old Man's War. This is his first book in the whole series, and it kind of sets up the universe and gives you a little bit of story with it as well. The main character, John Perry, He's 75 years old.
John Kerry.
Perry.
Okay.
Yeah, not John Kerry. He's 75 years old, and on his 75th birthday, he did two things. He went to his wife's grave to, say his goodbyes or whatever, and then he joined the army.
What? Wait, he's 75.
He's 75.
But I think, do people live until they're like 300?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. People live till normal age, just like normal on Earth.
Okay.
On Earth.
All right. On Earth.
Elsewhere is a different story. But you can't join the army until you're 75.
Really?
You sign up 10 years earlier at 65 and agree to go, and they take your DNA and they ship you off. And they take you into space. You go fight wars.
Wait, so they take your DNA and then they just ship you off as a 75-year-old man?
Well, not exactly.
Oh.
So they take you to there.
That old man's war was getting a whole new meaning for me.
So they take 75-year-olds because they've already lived a full life. So pretty much when you're 75, it's like, I've already done everything I can. I don't really. They're more willing to do the more dangerous stuff in the army.
Like, I lived a long life. I'm good.
Yeah. So what they do is they take you, and during boot camp, they transfer your consciousness into a genetically modified human at age 20.
Oh, wow.
Of your DNA, but you've got green skin so that they can get energy from the sun like plants.
Oh, cool.
They're a little bit stronger and faster than humans. They have a computer in their brain that they're called a brain pal that they can control, like the nanobots in their bloodstream and all this crazy stuff they do. But anyways, the whole premise of the book is the universe, or at least the galaxy, is a very hostile place. And we're late. We're late to the game. So there's not a lot of real estate. There's not a lot of planets to colonize. And so there's a lot of having to go and wipe out certain species to try to get planets from them.
Oh.
I mean,
it's a harsh world out there.
It is a harsh universe. And it gets crazier as the book series go on. You find out all kinds of, back and forth, stuff that the colonial government's not telling everyone, all this crazy stuff. But it's so good. It's such a good book. I was recommended by my best friend Rob. He's reading it he's on audiobook, and he's already annoyed that I'm past the first book, past the second book, and a third of the way through the third book already. And there's 3 in the main series, but then there's a whole bunch of tie-in book. He's got 4 other ones, I believe, that tie into it that are really good.
And they go into, from what I understand, the second book and beyond goes into other alien races out there, and their
kind of they give a little bit more perspective from an alien race inside of things. Well, but it's still mainly about humans. Really good. My pick of the week. So Old Man's War, John Scalzi. Pick it up on Amazon. It's like $7 for the book, or for Kindle version, I think it's $5.
Yeah, it's like $5. So awesome. My pick of the week is not a sci-fi pick of the week.
Oh,
I know. I didn't think about that when I was coming up with the topic and everything.
Well, it could be sci-fi.
A little bit. The Marvel Universe is having one of their big events.
A universe jumping event.
Yep, exactly.
Which is sci-fi.
And it's all to do with Spider-Man. It's called Edge of the Spider-Verse.
Correct them. Not Spider-Man, Spider-Men.
Spider-Man.
And maybe women.
Which is what my pick of the week is, because Edge of the Spider-Verse #2, just like, even if you don't read anything else for the comic, #2 is Gwen Stacy, who got bit by the spider instead of Peter Parker, and she is Spider-Woman now. Cool. Scott
silently squeeing.
Yep. She's got a cool suit that's kind of this white and red combo that looks really cool. It's got like a hood on it and everything. Peter Parker in that universe is dead. Gwen Stacy was protecting him, and he wanted to be strong enough that he could protect himself, and became the Lizard and died on it, like killed himself basically fighting Gwen Stacy, and everybody thinks it's her fault or Spider-Woman's fault.
Oh, wow.
And so they're all out to...
That's an interesting twist.
Yep. And her dad's basically hunting her down. And she's in a band called the Mary Janes, which their lead guitarist and singer is Mary Jane Watson.
Of course.
And she's the drummer. And she's like, that's what she wants to do with her life. It's after high school, and she wants to be the drummer for this band and make it big. The thing that I wanted to talk to you about earlier that we have written down here is the Kingpin hires a different looking Rhino. He's kind of like this big orange skinned, or not orange, gray skinned guy to go kill Mr. Stacy.
Okay.
And the person who he has hire the Rhino is the Kingpin's lawyer, Matt Murdock.
Oh.
So that's how it ties back into the Daredevil thing.
Nice.
So I want more from this universe. At the end of it,
you want more Gwen Stacy.
I want more Spider-Woman, aka Gwen Stacy. At the end of it, I won't spoil it, but she does something that kind of gets the police off of her case. Of course, she has to. I mean, she's got to be the hero. And there's other cool stuff from the Edge of the Spider-Verse. We've got more Superior Spider-Man with Doc Ock as Peter Parker going around collecting Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Edge of the Spider-Verse #1 is Spider-Man Noir, which is a black, kind of, not black color, like black skinned, but he's a Spider-Man who wears all black, and he's got like the cool goggles on, and it's like in the 1940s.
So it's Court of the Owls.
Yeah, kind of Court of the Owls style.
From Batman.
Yep. And then the next one, Edge of the Spider-Verse #3 that's coming out is going to be kind of a robotic Iron Man style Spider-Man.
Interesting. Nice.
So it's this cool. I love when they do alternate versions of heroes and other people who take up the mantle from that hero's storyline. And Gwen Stacy being Spider-Woman, she's just as snarky as Spider-Man is, and she is totally kick-ass without. And they don't really sexify her up. They don't have like the skin tight suit or anything.
Yeah.
She wears kind of this baggier suit that kind of makes it look like, oh, you can't really tell like how skinny I am or what my body type is or anything like that. And she's got the hoodie, and it looks, oh my gosh. I need to go read it again. I'm so excited.
I think someone needs to make a cool Gwen Stacy as Spider-Woman statue.
Yes.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah,
I'd buy it up.
I would buy that too. I saw a couple Gwen Stacy Spider-Womans at Comic-Con a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And I was like, yes, that's what we need. We need more Spider.
We need more Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, we need more Gwen Stacy.
We need no more Mary Jane. And we need more Gwen Stacy.
The character Mary Jane. We could use some other Mary Jane.
Oh, right. Right. The character in Spider-Man, Mary Jane, we need no more of her.
Yeah.
Tired of her bull crap that she pulls on Spider-Man all the time. Get back Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. And
I'm glad she's dead.
I'm glad that she's not back in the comics.
Yeah, she's like one of the only characters that has stayed dead.
But I think this cool alternate reality would be I would definitely sign up for that comic.
Good tie-in.
If they do an alternate, like an Elseworlds kind of book.
Yeah.
Do a 6-issue run. I'll love it. And then
or Ultimate.
It. Yeah. Or make it Ultimate or something like that.
Ultimate Spider-Woman.
She's dead in the Ultimate Universe too.
Oh,
she got killed by Carnage. She's just not lucky.
No,
except for in this universe, she gets pretty lucky.
Yeah.
So
except for she got bit by a spider and got no powers and all responsibility.
And then Peter got killed. And
yeah.
By the way, the person who says with great power comes great responsibility in this universe, J. Jonah Jameson.
Nah.
He's talking about how these masked heroes need to know, or these masked vigilantes or whatever need to know that with great power comes an even greater responsibility. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Yes, I love this comic.
All right.
Well, that is going to do it for us. If you would like to send an email about fantasy, or if you have any questions for us, you can email us at actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
It's because we didn't do it last week, so I got all messed up.
Yeah, and I was going to get my personal email there.
You can also send us a post on Facebook, facebook.com/actsofgeekery.
We have a YouTube page that you can post comments up on at youtube.com/actsofgeekery.
You can also hit us up on Twitter @actsofgeekery.
If you put #ActsOfGeekery, we'll find it.
We'll find that as well. And those are all ACTS, not AXE.
Yep. Well, that's been another episode 12 in the bag. I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek.
Yep. Keep geeking out.
See ya.